So on November 20, Terence Crawford will defend his WBO and Lineal Welterweight title against Shawn Showtime Porter. To everyone asking why would Terence Crawford be the Lineal Welterweight title, I'm going to give you guys a brief history. Terence Crawford won his title off Jeff Horn back in 2018. Jeff Horn won his WBO title off of Manny Pacquiao in July of 2017. Manny Pacquiao, after Floyd Mayweather retired and vacated his lineal title, of course, him and Timothy Bradley were the number 1 and 2 fighters when they faced off in their trilogy in April of 2016. So as they are the number 1 or 2 fighters, their fight was for the lineal title. In my eyes, lineal is very subjective, but in my eyes, that fight was for the lineal title. So now let's get back to talking about this fight between Shawn Porter challenging Terence Crawford. So let's look. I already covered Shawn Porter's recent fight, all the way dating back to 2014. We're going to cover very briefly Terence Crawford's stint at welterweight. As I just mentioned, Terence Crawford debuted at welterweight in 2018, June 9. He stopped Jeff Horn in round 6, round 9, the much bigger Jeff Horn, who had just beaten Manny Pacquiao. Stopped him in round 9, was winning every round, then stopped him late. Then he fought highly touted contender Jose Benavidez Jr., who actually hasn't fought since then. This is 2018, October 13. Jose Benavidez Jr. 6 foot with a 73-inch reach. I believe he's the brother of David Benavidez. He had a record of 27 wins, no losses, 18 knockouts. Many people expected him to beat Terence Crawford, but Terence Crawford dominated him, won every round until he knocked him out brutally in the last. Then he fought Amir Khan. Amir Khan, going into that fight, has had 4 losses, but never in any of his losses was he ever outboxed. That was something Amir Khan was touting so much prior to the fight. His fans were kept on saying that. He says that even when I do lose, I get knocked out. And he told Terence Crawford, you don't have the power to knock me out. And a lot of people fell into that hype. So in April 20, 2019, round 1 starts. Terence Crawford drops Amir Khan. Then he starts outboxing him for the next few rounds. Then he stops him in round 6, where he claims he got hit in the low blow, where it was a body shot, and he refused to continue fighting. Then, in his next fight, Terence Crawford faced probably his toughest fight of his career against Calvin Eustaquis, Mean Machine. You guys might know Mean Machine, as he just gave Virgil Ortiz a very hard fight. I believe it was stopped in round 8. Against Virgil Ortiz, yes, he was. He dropped Virgil Ortiz in round 2. He got dropped a few times himself. And against Terence Crawford tried to outbox him early, but it was not working. And Mean Machine dropped Terence Crawford early in the fight. I believe it was round 2. Then Terence Crawford shook it off, got up, and went into war with Mean Machine. Dropped him in round 7, then 2 more times in round 9 before the referee stopped the fight. Then he faced Special K, Kell Brook, a guy we know that's a shared opponent between the two. Kell Brook dominated Shawn Porter back in 2014. But to be fair, this was a completely different Kell Brook that Terence Crawford was facing. This one has suffered 2 fractured eye sockets, one on his left, one on his right, separately to Gennady Golovkin and Errol Spence Jr. But he looked good in his couple fights that he had before Terence Crawford. I actually famously predicted that Kell Brook was going to beat Terence Crawford, but that fight made me learn to stop betting on boxing. Because I saw the odds. It was Terence Crawford was 18-1, 20-1 favorite over Kell Brook. And I just thought it was free money. There's no way Kell Brook should be that big of an underdog. But I guess the casinos knew what they're doing, because Kell Brook got stopped very badly in round 4. The first punch he took flush, he was out on his feet. Referee quickly stopped the fight thereafter. And now he's going in to face Shawn Porter. We all agree that Shawn Porter is his toughest fight yet at 147. But I'm going to keep this very, very short. Shawn Porter has been to too many wars recently. And I believe Terence Crawford is going to break him down to stop him. He's going to outbox him. He's going to outfight him. He's going to drop him a couple times. I believe he'll break him down, break him to the body, break him to the head, and stop him in the last 3 rounds. I'm very intrigued about this fight. I'm only intrigued to see how good Terence Crawford performs. Look, don't get me wrong. We could see a close fight where Terence Crawford takes a split decision, majority decision, because Shawn Porter knows how to make it scrappy, knows how to smother his opponents. But I would be shocked if Shawn Porter won this fight. Very shocked. Let me know your predictions in the comments below. Do any of you give Shawn Porter a chance of beating Terence Crawford? Because to be frank and to be honest, I don't. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I said Boxing out.